Okay, so for the first question is to find the confidence interval for the population mean. First thing first, we need to find the value for sample size and sample mean, x bar, standard deviation, and degree of confidence. After verify it, we got n equal to 42, x bar equal to 5.5, standard deviation equal to 1.1, and degree of confidence 0.99. Next, we just need to substitute these values into the formula, which is x bar plus minus z multiplied with standard deviation divided by square root of n. For the z value, it is based on the interval confidence, which is 99%. After we calculated it, we got the upper limit equal to 5.9378 and lower limit we got 5.0622. Okay, so next question is, question 2A is about the difference between a null hypothesis and an alternative hypothesis. So the difference between a null hypothesis and an alternative hypothesis is H null is a statement about the value of a population parameter developed for the purpose of testing numerical evidence, while H alternative is a statement that is accepted if the sample data provides sufficient evidence that the null hypothesis is false. Other than that, H null is always presumed to be true, while H alternative has the burden of proof. So the next question is question 2B is about the difference between a one-tailed test and two-tailed test. So the difference between a one-tailed test and two-tailed test is the rejection region. For one-tailed test, the rejection region is only in one tail of the curve, while two-tailed test it is happen for both tail of the curve. Other than that, a one-tailed test H alternative states a direction, while two-tailed test H alternative doesn't state any direction. Next question is question 2C is about p-value. So p-value is the probability of observing a sample value as extreme as or more extreme than the value observed given that the null hypothesis is true. Next, for question 2D, this question is about testing whether the average birth weight at Jitra Hospital is different from 6.6 pounds. So we want to check if there is a statistically significant change in birth weight. So step 1, we need to state the hypothesis. So for null hypothesis is mu equal to 6.6 and alternative hypothesis is mu is not equal to 6.6. So this is a two-tailed test because we're checking for any difference. Next, step 2, we need to select a level of significance. Since the level of significance is already given, which is equal to 0.05. Next, for step 3, we need to identify the test statistic, which is t statistic, using information given. Before we calculated it, we need to find the value of sample mean, sample standard deviation, and sample size. After calculating it, we got x bar equal to 7.5571, sample standard deviation equal to 1.1774, and sample size equal to 7. So we just need to substitute these values into t-test formula, which is sample mean minus population mean divided by sample standard deviation per square root of n. And we got the t-statistic value equal to 2.151. Next, step 4, we need to find the critical t-value from t-table using significance level equal to 0.05 and degree of freedom equal to 6, and left us with the critical t-value equal to plus minus 2.447. After we got the critical t-value, we need to know either the t-statistic is fall in or fall out of the curve by draw a sample curve. Next, based on the curve, we found the area of rejection. Lastly, we shall do conclusion for this problem based on the calculation and the curve. The critical t-value is greater than t-statistic. Since 2.151 within the range, so it doesn't fall in the rejection region. So we do not reject the H null. We conclude that there is no difference in average birth weight at Jitra Hospital.
For question 3A, there are 5 steps to perform hypothesis testing. Step 1, state null and alternate hypothesis. Step 2, select a level of significance. Step 3, identify the test statistic. Step 4, formulate a decision rule. Step 5, take a sample, arrive at decision whether to do not reject HO or reject HO and accept H1. Question 3B, we need to find p-value. First step, we need to state null and alternate hypothesis. So the null hypothesis is H1 equal to mu fast food, lesser than or equal to mu restaurant. The alternate hypothesis is H1 equal to mu fast food greater than mu restaurant. Step 2, we need to select the level of significance which is given in the question. So the alpha is 0.10. And then step 3, we need to identify the test statistic. So we use pool T test. Step 4, we formulate a decision where we reject HO if calculated T is greater than 1.363. We got 1.363 based on sigma value on T table. And then step 5, we take a sample, arrive at decision. We need to calculate the pool sample standard deviation using this formula. And then with X bar for fast food is 142.5. Sample size of fast food is 6. Standard deviation for fast food is 12.243. And then X bar for restaurant is 130.286. Sample size for restaurant is 7. Meanwhile, the standard deviation for restaurant is 15.787. And then we calculate and we will get 204.075. And then we calculate T using T formula with X bar for fast food is 142.5. Sample size of fast food is 6. X bar for restaurant is 130.286. Sample size for restaurant is 7. The pool sample standard deviation is 204.075. So the T value is 1.537. So 1.537 does fall inside the rejection area. Reject HO, we conclude that the mean salary for the fast food workers are greater than restaurant workers. And p-value is between 5% to 10%. This is a one-tail test. T-value is 1.537. Degrees of freedom is 11. So we need to look at degrees of freedom 11. So the t-value is between 1.363 and 1.796, which is under level of significance for one tail test 0.100 and 0.050. So the p-value is between 5% to 10%.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nurul Ashiki Medidari, and my metric number is 305030. So for today, I'm going to present question for analysis, and I'm focusing on hypothesis testing and ANOVA regarding for this question. For the question 4A, we investigated whether a training program improved customer relationships. Our goal is to determine if the improvement is statistically significant at 0.05 level. Alright, so we are going to use a 5-step hypothesis. For the first step, which is step 1, our null hypothesis H0, which is H0, stat less than equal to 0, and the alternative hypothesis, which is H1 is more than 0. Alright, so we are going to move to the step 2, which is set an alpha equal to 0.05. We get it from the significant level start from the question. And for the step 3, we use a t-test. So we move on to the step 4. We which is we reject H null if our calculation T is more than 1.943. Right, so this critical value, it comes from a one-tailed T distributions with 6 degrees of freedom. The last step, which is step 5, the calculated for mean difference is 2 with a T statistic of 2.541. Since we can see that 2.541 more than 1.943, we reject H null. We can conclude this that the training significantly improved customer relationships. Alright, so next we are going to analyze the ANOVA table, and we refer back to the question with there are several of question, and from the table the question for A answer for treatment is 320, which get it from the SS total 500 minus 118. For the question B, the total sample size is 12. And for the third question, the critical value of F is 4.26, which you get it from the alpha 0.05, and the degree of freedoms for the numerator is 2 and denominator is 9. For the question D, the null hypothesis alternate hypothesis is H null mu1 equal to mu2 equal to mu3, and H1 the means are not all equal. Alright, so we move to the last question, which is the conclusion regarding the null hypothesis is A fall inside the area of rejection, so we reject H null. We can conclude that the mean are not all equal. Alright, so right now we are going to move on for the last question, which is for C. We are going to use the same step as question for A because it's still on the same topic as ANOVA. Using the 5 steps, we start with step 1, H null, which is mu gross equal to mu jet red equal to u cloud train, and H1 is the mean are not all equal. Alright, so for the step 2, the alpha is 0.05, and for the step 3, we are going to use a F statistic. And the step 4, we reject H null if calculated F is greater than 3.32. Move on to the last step, which is step 5. We get the calculation of F is 3.036. Get it from the calculation of means of square between is 63.557 divided by the mean of square within, which is 20.933. We can say that 3.036 is fall outside the area of rejection. Do not reject H null. We cannot conclude that the mean are not all equal.